Hey, everybody. It's Wednesday, and you know what that means. Yes, that's right. It's time for Sarcastic Distractions, the interesting podcast for interesting people. Featuring, as always, the Gentleman Society of Podcasting. Myself, Harvey. My heterosexual life mate, Dave.
Oh, my word. And yes, I'm here.
And the ever-loving, ever-neighborly AJ.
Won't you be my neighbor?
Won't you be my neighbor? Hi, friends. How's it going?
Welcome to Mr. Robinson's neighborhood.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Come
So
on.
let's get ripped off now.
One of the best Eddie Murphy sketches ever.
I'd say one of the best Saturday Night Live sketches ever.
Probably,
it is
yeah.
in my top 10
Brilliant.
for sure. Because when I saw that, I was like, "How are you allowed to say that?
Oh, back then.
Are you allowed to do that?"
Back then it was...
Saturday Night Live. Yeah.
I'm trying to find the word. Not allowed, not okay, but...
Acceptable?
Not acceptable.
They got away with it.
It got by.
Oh yeah, they're okay. Yeah, both
It got
both
by.
terms agree.
Yes.
Yeah. Which was fantastic. And yes, that is exactly what we're talking about today. We are talking about what we can do and what our neighbors can do to make a better place to hang out. AJ's
or make it
doing
worse, to be honest.
Or worse, yeah.
Or worse, yeah.
Or worse, yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the neighbor episode.
Neighbors. Yeah.
For sure. So
Had a neighbor.
had a neighbor. Yeah. Has anybody ever had a neighbor like Flanders?
Oh.
I guess it depends on your
No.
perspective of Flanders, because some people can make the argument he is actually really snoopy.
Yeah, that's true. He's always in their face.
Yeah, he's
Well,
always
I
there,
mean,
always watching, always
I guess he's
Praying for them.
He's your stereotypical
neighbor.
Christian neighbor.
Yeah.
Who's
Yeah.
always, what you doing, neighbor?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, by the
Right.
same token, Homer's always stealing his shit, so it is
Well,
a
yeah,
two-way
I mean,
street.
Yeah.
He's probably just looking for his shit, really.
Yeah, and he said that quite often.
Right?
That's true. He's like, I just came over to look for my lawnmower right here.
When I was a kid, we had a neighbor that was, I wouldn't say like Flanders, but had that sort of very standoffish, didn't really want to talk, chat, know anything.
yeah.
If you even
say I had
touched his house, he would glare at
Oh,
you.
wow. That's
Mm.
weird.
I had a weird back home. I had a weird neighbor. There was this old lady when we moved in, but then she passed away. And then there was this dude named Hector that moved in, and he was this like he looks kind of like a Latin George Costanza.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
the glasses,
Wow.
sweaters, bald in the middle with the horseshoe fucking
Yeah,
hair.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
looking egg-shaped.
But he wasn't like neurotic per se. Like
Okay.
he didn't get
Yeah.
into like neurotic diatribes with us or
Wasn't
anything like
wasn't
that.
celebrating
He was
Festivus.
He was just kind of weird. He was kind
Okay.
of like you'd always just seem like kind of go to his car and go into his house,
Ah.
and then didn't make any noise ever. Never like hung out in his backyard.
Whoa, it's like the
Yeah.
Burbs.
Kinda.
Oh, wow.
Kinda.
Wow.
I mean, he was a nice enough guy when you interacted with him. He didn't put off this like serial killer vibe.
Right.
I mean, or I guess he could have, because that's what a serial killer would.
Yeah, but
Not try not to draw attention to themselves. All right. Yeah.
But like, I'm thinking about it now, and I'm like, I watch enough Criminal Minds, and like
always big.
the fucking blinds were always drawn. And there was always like no noise.
Yeah.
Nobody
There you go.
ever came out like in or out the front of his house.
There's all these garbage bags in front of his house.
Right?
Well,
Like, I
okay.
don't know, man. But
That's
yeah.
a pet peeve of mine. I did have
Actually,
a neighbor
yeah.
once upon a time that would always just leave random garbage and shit around there.
Oh,
And
I'll-
I
yeah,
will
I'll
give
get there,
credit.
too. Fuck.
It is their house, but it's one of those, like, come on, especially when it's windy out and it's blowing shit all over everybody else's neighbor. Like,
yeah.
like that's really
That's the issue.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of that either. It's
Yeah.
like, it's one thing if you don't want to like mow your lawn as much as everybody else or whatever, but you're leaving garbage that's attracting some shit, and that's going to blow into other people's lawns. That's just not fun.
To be honest, I am one of those people that going to your mowing the lawn.
Yeah.
I actually think people should be allowed to do what they want with their
I
lawn.
agree.
I
agree.
don't disagree with
Yeah.
that. I
Yeah.
don't disagree with
If they
that.
don't want to
It's-
mow it, all right, they don't
Yeah,
mow
whatever,
it.
exactly.
Okay.
It's
If-
what it
Whatever,
is.
yeah.
And it's weird because there's some neighborhoods where, like over here in Old East Village, where depending on how the lawn is set up, people don't complain about it.
Yes.
Right? Like if there's like a tree with a nice something or other.
Thanks,
Excuse me,
Leslie.
Jesus.
Thanks.
Or a bunch of flowers or whatever.
Sure.
Yeah, people don't. But when it's just like
If it's
grass,
just
Yeah.
a grass,
Just
then
grass,
people will
yeah.
generally, yes, that's
Or
where
like,
people will complain usually.
nobody bitches about if your garden's all fucked up.
No.
Like if your front, like
yeah.
I guess if you don't live in a neighborhood where there's like an HOA, type scenario.
Yeah, no,
But
no
yeah,
complaints
nobody,
about that.
like our front garden always looks like poop.
Yeah.
like children put it together.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Well, there's this one neighbor we have around the block, and her whole lawn is all fenced in, and it looks like some sort of fucking bio experiment inside.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like I don't even know how they get to the front door to this fucking
Biodome.
thing. Yeah,
Well, they might use side or back or something.
maybe.
Yeah.
Oh,
But like
is that the one right next
to the brown
to the building?
Yeah,
right
yeah,
next
yeah.
to the building with the house with all like the brand new windows.
No.
Okay,
No.
that house is kind of fucked up. Too.
That's
That's
kind of
a weird.
other-
That looks like it
yeah.
has a murder shack in the back too.
I think they are. I don't know if they're killing people or animals, but I think they are murdering
Like,
something.
seriously,
I think
like,
something's happening.
it's like
back
this
there.
white house. Well, I don't know if you've ever paid attention when we've gone over to Chris's, but it's like a white house, and it has brand new windows,
Mm.
and it looks like it's still being renovated, but it's like never being renovated.
There's always people that are very questionable coming in and out of it
And
all
there's
the
this
time.
weird, like dark, murdered, shacky backyard. I don't know how to
Yeah.
explain it.
Yeah.
But what's funny is I actually don't mind if my neighbor has one of those in their backyard. As long as it's quiet, it's in their backyard.
for
you know,
sure.
all right, you do
Yeah,
you.
but then the murdering can spill over into your yard, and that's the problem.
That I
That's the
disagree
issue.
with.
well,
This
then
is
no
true.
murder shack.
Yeah, well, but it's like
You can have a murder shack, have it out in the fucking boonies or something.
I don't know. It's like
And then you can have the don't murder me. You know, like you can have that.
as long as the
Yeah.
adult murders me are not happening at like 3 a.m. I'm okay.
And
Then no.
today's point, AJ, listen, if you're gonna have a murder shack in the boondocks, that's gonna cost you way more for frickin' chloroform and shit. That you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You gotta
Yeah,
do it
like-
more.
Yeah. So I
4 times.
I think
versus
with
twice.
Dave, you're gonna have a murder shack in your
And-
backyard as long as you're quiet. I'm
if
okay
you're
with
quiet
that.
about it throughout the day, and again, the nice thing about being in the city is you can use public transit, things
Yeah,
like that,
of
to
course.
transport what you need.
It's all right.
You know,
we got
reducing your
public
environment.
waste facilities.
No, but you wouldn't use public because then people would see you and you'd have
Well,
witnesses, and then
you're
you'd have to take on a
discreet.
whole bus.
What you forget one thing, especially nowadays. Like even back before, when you were on the bus, people didn't usually pay attention to you. Now it's even more so because of headphones and cell phones.
That's right, yeah.
You can
That's
get
true. That's
even
true.
the driver won't notice
That's
you
true.
because they have the protection panels and everything. As long as they hear the fucking beep, they don't give a
That's
flying
right.
fuck.
You could chuck a human head down the bus.
Nobody would
corridor.
notice.
Nobody would care. Like, oh, the fuck, whatever.
This is true. This is anyway about the biodome.
The biodome. Yeah. So and everyone else around her lawn seems like they keep it up and clean and all that stuff. But I don't give a fuck. You know, that's their lawn. Whatever. Maybe they got something going on there that I have no idea what they do. You know, so whatever. Yeah, I'll say to that.
My neighbor now.
Which one?
I
know you don't have to. You don't have
if
to
you're
call
looking
it
if you're looking out the back, I don't care. You fucking listen to this.
out.
If you're looking out the backyard, the guy to the right,
Okay.
buddy,
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy.
looks like Joe Exotic,
Ah.
Yeah, nice.
like the fucking Tiger King.
Oh my god.
And when he's drunk, he sounds like Joe
Oh,
Exotic.
wow.
Oh yeah, he kind of gets that like twangy sort of
You think Joe Exotic escaped prison and moved to London,
right.
Ontario?
I don't know, man.
Undercover?
I don't know, man.
That's
But,
one thing I have to say I kind of miss. All my neighbors now, they're relatively their family, you know, nothing terribly exciting.
he's
happens.
a good guy. He plays very loud music when he's drinking.
Mm.
In his garage, which is most of the summer, until like
Oh,
seriously,
yeah.
from like 6 o'clock at night to like 3 o'clock in the morning,
Yeah.
and the
boy.
music just gets louder and louder and louder.
Jeez.
You know how drunk he is based off of what he's listening to at what volume.
Oh,
You
okay.
can call it out.
Oh yeah, it usually starts off with like the top 40 classic rock radio
Yeah.
kind of thing,
Yeah.
and then it'll go into different sort of shit. Like you're like, holy crap, he's listening to System of a Down. What the fuck, right? But sometimes
Could
that's
be he's
only,
passed out and it's just big.
Yeah,
Google
it's just-
Play.
yeah,
or
repeat
sometimes
through,
it's
yeah.
one of those like it seems like it's like he's never heard it before and he listens to like half a song and it's like one of those bad DJs in a car where they just keep switching the song right halfway
Yeah.
through. So no, let's listen to
No,
this.
no, yeah,
No, let's listen to this.
Yeah.
That kind, right?
Yeah.
And then when he's really drunk, it's loud polka.
Nah.
Like,
I think you mentioned that one
oompa,
before,
You did,
actually.
yeah.
and then after that, he gets sad bastard drunk, and
Oh,
it's
boy.
sad country music.
Oh, not Celine Dion.
That's when I would call
Um,
a complaint.
Yeah, but
and
like,
that's-
yeah,
and that's when-
that's when I'd be
Ooh,
calling the
which brings
cops.
us-
That's
point.
either the
Well,
cutoff
Go ahead,
sometimes, or sometimes I think he sobers up and then he goes back into like dance music and rock
nice.
music and stuff till like 3 o'clock.
Wow.
So actually, that does call out the one thing that I do believe everybody should do more, in the sense of, if your neighbor's annoying you about something, don't call the cops, don't complain. Go over, knock on their door, and explain to them what is annoying the fuck out of you.
I agree.
I think if it bothered us enough, we would, because
Well, you haven't called the
he's
cops yet, right?
He's a pretty decent guy.
Yeah.
No, I mean I can
Right.
sleep through it.
Yeah.
If it's gonna keep my baby up in the
We got a
next,
problem.
within
Yeah.
the next couple
Mhm.
months, then
That's-
maybe I'll say something.
Yeah, like the only time I would start calling the cops is if the person is being aggressive, won't listen.
He's
shit
not
or
a
this.
dick.
Yeah,
For
that's
sure.
what I
He's
mean. If the
definitely
person's
not
a
a
dick.
dick. I mean,
Yeah.
he'll hand me joints over the fence just
Yeah.
because.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I had my
Right.
neighbor the once. I don't know what they were doing. Maybe they're just having too much fun in the bedroom. But flicking dog just, and I not just a rough, but just a
Yeah.
at 2:00 in the fucking morning, woke everybody up.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
that's a problem.
I have to admit, my wonderful wife, I think she even said, "Okay, well, we should just call the cops." I'm like, fuck that, I'm going next door.
Yeah,
See,
talk to fucking
For
talk to
me,
them.
even in the afternoon when a dog's going off, that kind of bothers me. And I get what you're gonna say, but the dog should be in the house. If a dog's going off outside, it's either A, you've left your dog outside and fucked off,
Right.
Mhm.
which isn't cool,
Sure.
or B, you're ignoring your dog,
Right.
which is annoying everybody around you,
Right.
which
Yeah.
is a dick move.
Yeah, that's rude.
Right? It's not
Yeah.
like having to go out living in an apartment and your dog barking.
Absolutely.
I think it's
Yeah.
different. That's not a dick move.
No.
Yeah.
That's just
Yeah.
something that has to be done.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, I
But
actually.
your dog's sitting outside for like half an hour.
Yeah.
Fucking do something about
Yeah,
that.
and that's
man.
another example where I would go over to my neighbor and be just knock knock. Hey, your dog's
Yeah,
freaking out.
okay.
And if they're not home, then I'll just go and talk to the dog.
Yeah.
Hey, dog,
Good idea.
what the fuck?
I've actually done that with the neighbor dog. It's just one of those. It had it up into whatever o'clock in the morning. I probably just would have done the same. Go out and I just pet it over the fence, all the normal stuff that we do. But yeah, 2:00 in the morning. It was just that knock knock knock, and yeah,
It's
and your
fucking
dog is
annoying.
freaking out. Can you please bring him in? And I just walked back to my house.
See, simple as that.
No, it was simple because that's. And again, I have to admit, nowadays definitely more fortunate where the neighbors are fairly all quiet. You know, everybody
Mm.
kind of takes care. But that's one of my pet peeves is just always make sure that you're picking up garbage. I don't care about your lawn. Don't even really care about the style of your house and how you care for it. Just pick up the trash, please. Like,
Yeah.
We have a house on our street that's a trash yard house.
yeah, like that's just it's just like that's my only thing that I really demand of my neighbors is just pick up your fucking trash.
Right.
And yes, I'm going to keep bringing this up just so they listen.
Yeah.
I seem to have every type of neighbor. If you think of like my street, and everybody on my street would be a neighbor.
Hmm.
It's interesting. We have hillbillies and people
Yeah.
who go to work in a business suit and people who go to work in a construction. And then there's a Hell's Angels gang house down the block there too.
Yeah.
Nice.
But it's
Very diverse.
it's not like a pocket of peoples.
yeah.
Right.
Like sometimes you'll get that. You'll have like a group of certain
Types.
lifestyles
Yeah, yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever.
It's kind of like the way it was
living in the
back in the
same
day.
area.
You
Yeah.
had like your different ethnicities and different neighborhoods.
And
or
groups.
different
we have
cultures,
we
things
have
like that.
different cultures and ethnicities as well. We have
Yeah,
Asians, I guess South Asian people.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what you would call. I guess Indians are Indians, right?
Yeah.
You can say Indian when it means
Indo-Canadians.
like somebody from India.
Yeah,
I
but
believe so.
Indo-Canadians is, I think, the term.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
That's why I said South Asian.
Yeah, no worries,
That's where they're from.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, we have lots of different cultures living in the neighborhood. It's interesting.
That's good,
It's an
yeah.
interesting neighborhood.
I'm
Yeah.
glad we live in that time when we have that, because there was a time when it was everyone kind of.
Oh, it was very
Oh yeah,
segregation.
it's because
Yeah.
people cared, I think, and neighborhood meant something
More.
different.
Yeah.
Sure.
It was more of a close knit community.
It made
Yes.
sense too when we, in terms of immigration, right? Like when you're coming over to this country, where you're going to go? Probably to spot
Areas that you can communicate
That's
easily.
true. That's why they ended
Yeah.
up having certain areas in certain, like little
Yeah,
little
Yeah.
or
Or
Chinatown,
Chinatown,
stuff
yeah.
like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
because those people
Hell yeah,
would congregate.
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. No, I do
It is
think it's more
interesting, though.
spread out now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
me
Yeah.
too. Yeah, I like it.
Neighborhood things, and that's one of always the fun things is that like my one neighbor, they're I believe I don't know for 100%, but I believe that they're Korean, and it's just one of those like they go out and play hockey and all that fun
Nice.
stuff. And
Let's go.
it's just the times have changed.
They sure have.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I like
they're
it.
one of my favorite neighbors. Yeah.
That's nice.
And in fact, one of my favorite of all time, Edna, she unfortunately had to move because husband left and all the other fun stuff. But Yeah, one of my favorite of all times because she took care of the kids, helped out, and when she was going to move, I always remember I was giving her a hand because she's an older lady and can never mow her lawn.
Right.
And I don't know how her front got done. Probably just the neighbor came over and helped. But anyway, went to her backyard and she needed it mowed. And I'm very funny, yes. And I'm telling you,
It sounds
this
like
grass
the start
was
of a movie.
huge. Oh, it was fucking hilarious.
Oh,
yeah, it was quite nice.
And boom.
Yeah, no.
She is very nice. If I was older, wasn't married, or if she was younger and I wasn't married, yeah, I'd give
Good
a good
for you, Dave.
I'd give a good kick
Good
at
for
it.
you,
I'd
sir.
give a good kick.
Yeah, why not, eh?
Yeah.
Why?
I
You only
had-
live once, right?
One of my favorite neighbors was when we when I moved here and I lived over on Trossachs in one of the apartment buildings. I had an old Italian lady
Okay.
and her husband lived there, and he worked for one of the bakeries in town.
Oh, nice.
Serrano's?
Oh,
Bakery.
Serrano's.
Yeah, it's by your place,
Yeah, yeah.
isn't it? It's a
Yeah.
Portuguese bakery or
Yeah.
something. And yeah, he was the delivery
Oh,
guy.
nice.
And he would bring back fucking bags
Yeah.
of shit, like
Oh,
buns and
nice.
pizza bagel thingies.
Oh,
Yeah.
And then
man.
she would make freaking like homemade foods and stuff like that and just come knocking on the door. You like?
Oh my gosh.
Yes, please.
That's what I
Okay.
miss
And
about
unfortunately,
Edna. She would do
I
that.
hate it 'cause I can't remember the woman's name to save my life.
Oh, it's
So
yeah.
we'll just call her Nona.
No, well, no. Edna
Yeah.
used to periodically. They would go and they make up random stuff for an event that's going on, and she'd come by and would you like some?
Yeah.
And it was one of those funny things. I always remember she gave the name of the dish has popped in my head, but yeah, like a big dish of it, and within I don't know half an hour, we ate it all.
Gone. Yeah.
It was gone. It was just poof.
I love it. And
Brought the dish back to her. She goes, "Oh, did you put all the food somewhere?" Yes, I did.
Yes,
it is
Yeah.
God. Yeah. Yeah. Serrano's isn't a sponsor, but they can be.
No. Are they even still around?
I think
Are they
so.
open still?
They're very small time
Are they
now,
still?
though.
Yeah.
They got like the bakery.
Aw.
It's open like
Like
part time hours.
From like 11 to 2.
And I hope
kind
they
of
still
thing.
have their spot in Covent Garden Market because when I used to work downtown, I used to go there all the frickin'
Oh,
time.
I don't know.
I don't know if they are
I
anymore.
don't know.
Yeah.
Another place that was great was the International Bakery, but they don't. They're owned by another family now. Of
Is that the East End one?
yeah,
Yeah,
of
where the strip club used to be.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yep. No, I know the one you're speaking of.
Yeah, it used to be owned by an Italian family, and then they sold it after no, I don't know if it was where strip club used to be. This place has been around for 20 something years.
Yeah. No, it's been
And
around
they
forever.
moved from one
The east side.
spot beside it to that's Lynn's.
Oh, okay.
No, the International
Oh.
Bakery was just the International Bakery.
Oh, okay.
And they moved. They had a building. They moved from one building to right next door, and
That's a
it looked
big
more like
move.
a supermarket-y kind of,
Hmm.
as opposed to a bakery sort of thing.
Nice.
But then they sold it after 20 some odd years of
That
service.
makes sense.
And a Middle Eastern, Turkish family. I think now it's a Turkish bakery. They still call it the International Bakery.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
That's cool.
I don't know what my point of that was. I started off with
I think you
a
just started
reason
dreaming
for-
about bakeries. And
Yeah. You're really. I have to admit, I'm a little peckish.
Yeah,
but that's
I'll
all
say.
right.
I'm hungry
But
now.
speaking of Neighbours, yes, Lynn's Bakery was next to Famous Flesh Gordon's,
Yes.
which got
Right.
shut down, and then they tried to put it back in there. And the guy who owns Lynn's Bakery was like, we don't want a strip club in here, and he bought the whole fucking strip mall.
Oh, did he
Wow.
really?
Yeah, he bought
Nice.
the whole fucking
Does
thing
he-
and said no.
Does he
I don't
still have
want-"
a bakery there?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
You know what's
my
funny?
mom actually went there today.
Oh, yeah.
I cannot remember the guy's name. One of the guys we went to high
Dan
school.
Kim.
Yes.
Good old Dan Kim.
His family owned the convenience
I
store
think
that
it was
was in there.
Kim's Convenience or something. That's
No,
probably
that's the
wrong.
TV
Yeah,
show.
I know.
But
But yes, they
Good
had
play.
an
Good show.
awesome store there, and yeah, we used to visit there all the time when we were trying to sneak a peek in the Flesh Gordon. I mean,
oh, well, come on, let's be honest. They did have a great store. Like it was a nice
that was
store,
nice,
and I don't know if they're still there. In all honesty,
I don't know.
Because again, with the with the Flesh Gordon's gone, I can't
I don't
imagine
think
being much
there's-
people
yeah.
to pick up things.
Yeah.
But I have to admit, I generally was in that area for one purpose, and that was to try to get people to buy cigarettes.
That's right.
Uh,
Yeah. Cigarettes and boobs.
Yes,
Cigarettes
apparently,
and boobs.
like my mom was there today picking up at the bakery, picking up cinnamon buns and shit.
Ooh.
And
So we're gonna go to. Oh.
she was there for they're not probably they don't exist anymore.
Ah,
My pregnant wife got home and found them. But she said she was there for 25 minutes, 30 minutes in line almost.
Oh wow.
Because it's a
Oh.
factory district.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So she went there at 11:30, 12 o'clock.
Oh boy.
Yeah, because they have a little deli in there and shit.
Ah, damn it.
They
Okay,
make the
gotcha.
sandwiches and all
Yeah.
that kind of
Yeah,
shit, right? So,
Yeah.
but yeah, they don't have strip club as Neighbors anymore.
Oh, that's fine. I have to admit, I've never been in that one, even when I got old enough to be in that one.
I think it was pretty much on the way out when we were old enough.
I think so. Yeah.
It wasn't a place you want to go hang out.
No. God, no. It was always one of those scary-ish. Well, as I said, though, we did go near it to get cigars.
Of course.
Scary.
The downtown one, no.
Scary. Nah, it's not.
The downtown one is just very.
It was scary when I went into it.
It's downtown London. Like it's
So
just one of those.
scary.
It's not
Downtown
scary.
London's scary.
Oh, it's not. Especially now with the
Talk about
weather.
Neighbors.
Oh.
Man, Neighbors downtown is scary. There's some scary neighbors downtown, man.
Yeah, downtown London would be be
me.
pretty tricky now.
Well, what I
to
still
get
love
along.
about downtown, and probably downtown anywhere, but it's
Yeah.
something new for us here in London, is that concept of like you'll have one guy getting into like a super car, whatever, that he's paid bajillions of dollars,
Yeah.
and right beside him there'll be 3 or 4 that are sitting there and shooting themselves up.
Yeah.
And you know what I still love?
Amazing.
They don't really harass one another.
No, not really.
Not
No,
really.
I don't think I've been harassed by anybody
Yeah.
since I've
No.
well, maybe once.
Maybe ask for change or something.
Oh yeah, you
I
might
wouldn't
get the
call that-
odd.
I wouldn't
That's
call
not
that
harassment.
harassment.
If
No,
they
no,
just
no.
ask, you say no, and
Right.
all right, everybody moves
Yeah.
on. That to me is not harass. If you're like,
Yeah.
yeah, sorry, no. Oh, come on,
Oh,
man.
okay, I had one lady harass me in the parking lot of a convenience store once when I told her I didn't have any money.
Hmm.
She was all like, wah, 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 wah. And then she made it seem like I hit her with my car.
Did you?
She came up to the side of it and smacked the window. I was watching
Oh
I
my
was
Yeah.
watching
God.
behind me because I looked behind me when I fucking
Yeah.
pull out. And I was like, no, I didn't. And she's like,
Wow.
fuck. What do you want? I said I didn't have
Yeah.
any change. Nobody has any money these days.
Yeah, well, that's just
Nobody
it.
has any
Nobody
cash.
has cash.
It's
now.
like,
Yeah.
do you have a debit machine?
Did your-
I still think that's
going
gonna
to
happen.
for $2.
I
Is your
still
Aztec
think that'll
MasterCard?
happen.
I know.
They have to
I
be
know.
able to afford it.
I still
Yeah.
think that's going to happen. It's going to be that new thing where, your local community club will happily give you one, and they won't even take money.
Your
Right,
local
that's right.
community club will
Yep.
happily give you one.
Yeah, they'll give you the little
Yeah.
tappy
They'll
thing.
be insured.
yeah,
For
yeah,
sure.
yeah. Oh, you only get
And then
one
you
a year
And then you take it back to the community club and like plug it in. And
in
then,
order to get
and
the
then
money.
they give you a voucher.
Yeah.
And
Right.
then you take that voucher over to the cashier and you give it to the cashier and they give you the money.
Yeah,
And then
sure.
you can leave.
Sounds very much like gambling, to be honest.
It does sound like that, yeah.
I mean, it kind of is because when you ask somebody
Yeah.
for more, you're kind of gambling on the fact that they'll give you.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. See, that's just it. I can't think of anything that really. The only thing that somewhat, it semi annoys me, and it hasn't happened for a while. Is I did have a neighbor for some time who I think really wanted to be my friend, but it's just one of those. Yeah, no, it's good.
No,
Don't need to be buds.
Yeah. And again, there's nothing bad about the guy. It was just he always wanted to say hi. He always came over while I was mowing the lawn to chit chat, and it's just
Yeah.
that's not my style.
I'm in the same boat. I have my friends, and I don't live with them. And it's nice that you want to be
Well,
friendly.
wait, you live with one.
Okay, sure, yeah, fair, I do. But outside of that,
Your best friend.
yes, my best friend. But outside of that, I don't need to be buddy with my neighbors.
Well, no, it's just
It's
one
not
of
like we
those.
can't be like talking chit chat
yeah,
shit, but
I
like
talk-
Yeah.
A
I
chit
get that.
chat, yeah,
you
a
know.
chit chat is your crossing, or a hey, how's it going?
Yeah,
Pretty good,
sure.
you like, oh, that's
Like-
good.
Like I had one of my neighbors, and sweet individual, nothing wrong, but in a very intoxicated mode, came by and said, "Hey, if you want to hang out sometime?" I'm like, "I'm good."
So to be honest, if this person was intoxicated, I would just do the standard, yeah, shit, man, and of course they'll never remember.
Of course, I know, but the thing is like, this happened a couple of times where it's like, maybe
Yeah.
it's not the best idea. You know what I mean? Like I get it, but
Yeah, that's just the friendly. Because I have to
For
admit,
sure.
you know what's funny? I personally would find that less annoying within reason, but of
oh,
course.
for sure.
Then my old neighbor, who I shouldn't speak too ill of because he did pass away, that would really he would always just come over and he would say hi. We'd do the standard, hey, pretty good, yeah, pretty good, yeah, oh, those Blue Jays, yeah.
Yeah.
And he would stand there
And then stand there, yeah.
and I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Yeah, it's like, come on now.
okay.
That's how Joe Exotic neighbor is when he's drunk. He'll just come and he'll peek and peek.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were making a music video out in the backyard once. It was just myself and Nikki and our bass player. We were out guitar players at the time. And I was playing some guitar. And we had some lights set up.
Mhm.
And he comes over And he's like, hey, I heard you playing music. I saw some lights, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, you want to smoke a joint? Okay, sure. Yeah, I'll have a joint here or whatever. But it's like, are you going to leave after?
Yeah.
No. He starts talking about how he, like, fortunately we weren't like actually recording the song live. Like we already had the track.
Yeah.
Right. So, but like, I could go and get some jingle bells, or what was he saying? He's got like a piece of a broomstick with bottle caps screwed to it that jingle, that right? Fucking yeah. He's saying, last time there were lights out here, I looked out my fucking garage and some dude was taking naked pictures of some other girls before we moved in.
Oh
yeah. I was like, fuck,
buddy.
So much information.
Holy moly.
It's kind of good because I think he did work on our house and he does know a lot of people who lived in the house. So we know a few stories of
peeps.
I'm pretty sure somebody died in our house.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Some like big dude, like big dude, like had to like haul him out
Get
with
him
like
out of the
7
crane.
people, dude, kind of thing. Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, shit like
That's
that.
creepy. That's crazy.
So there might be some ghosties in our house. You never know.
Maybe. But you guys don't believe in ghosts.
I don't.
You don't. Neither do you.
I don't.
There's no ghost there then.
Yeah, I know.
Now, if I hit my head like on that show and then I was able to see the ghosts, then I'd probably be.
What was that show called again?
Ghosts.
Oh, okay.
I can get annoyed of neighbors always asking you to do tasks. I don't mind helping out. I don't mind whatever, but like it becomes like a thing where they're leaning on you to do something.
Yeah.
That's a little bit bothersome to me. It's not that I don't want to help out. I like helping out, but it's like
so then what's the difference to you? I'm not like what's the difference?
Sure.
But like what's the difference between helping out and tasked with
I
something?
guess if it starts to become like an expectation. I'm trying to think of a good example.
Yeah, I know. So I guess I somewhat agree.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
where
get what you're saying.
you're almost getting in trouble for not doing whatever you've done before.
Right, or feeling guilted
or they
into
just
something.
they just come and knock on your door and be like, hey, got that thing again.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you're just standing there like, okay, cool, good for you.
Yeah.
And there's like, no, you gonna help me or what?
Yeah. Like,
Well,
no.
Ask maybe. Like,
So I have to admit,
hey, would you mind helping me with something, please?
Yes.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Sure.
I could probably
Yeah.
help you with that.
Yeah.
because I
Right.
have
Give me
had
the choice
neighbor,
at least to say yes
yeah,
or no.
That's just
Exactly.
it. I have had the neighbor that I already spoke of that she would come over periodically. I give a hand, but she'd always come over, knock, knock, knock. Hey, Dave, sorry for interrupting, but would you be able?
Sure.
Like that's totally good.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a totally good. If
It's not like on the a certain time every week.
Yeah,
that we do
no,
that.
God,
Yeah.
no.
I've got this neighbor. I call her my bed neighbor, and she always expects me to do shit. Always expects me to
well
do shit.
played.
She was always like, can you take in the garbage? Can you stop with the stinky feet? Stop farting on me when we're trying to sleep.
No, I'm sleeping. Don't put your penis in me again.
Fucking bed neighbors.
They're the worst.
Fucking assholes.
Jeez.
God.
You just keep your mouth shut. That'd be
And I have
great.
this other neighbor who's in and he's just like, blah, 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 like 6 o'clock in the morning. Like 6 o'clock, he's just blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Paw Patrol. Fucking 7-year-old. He's 7 years old. How does he live by himself?
I have to admit, I'm more like that neighbor. I'm up early, and I have to make sure the doors are all shut, and I got to make sure I walk quietly,
Yeah.
at least until I get downstairs. That's the big joke right now because I got my almost said cousin, but my nephew moving in to go to school. I'll have to be upstairs, and I keep making the joke. You do realize I can't be quiet anymore. I won't be able to hide downstairs. He's like, or you could just stay in bed. No, I get bored.
Not at my house.
There's things happening.
My house, fuck you.
No, well, this is the joke between Shannon and I because she's still very much late night mode, like in the teenage years. Up till
Right.
can be up till midnight, that sort of thing.
Sure.
Whereas I am in the old man mode. I go to bed at like 10 and I'm up at 5.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm see, we were having a discussion beforehand, speaking of bed neighbors. How it seems like your wife and I would get along very well because we seem like she likes it when it's cold in the house. I like it when it's cold in the house.
Mhm.
And, I like to be up until, midnight, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And I'll get up at 7:30 and function properly. And you're like my wife who like,
No,
all the windows open. Open the windows. It's got to be 400 degrees in here before you even think of putting a fan on.
I do agree. I let her turn the bedroom fan on that much. Mostly because, well, I'm already asleep by the time she turns it on.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, that's how she gets around that rule. Not rule. Yeah, the fan.
Yeah,
there is no rule.
That preference.
There's no rule. Oh my God. No rules. No rules. Don't
That's
beat
the one.
me.
That's the one thing I have to do all year round. I have to sleep with the fan. I got with the tinnitus.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, the fan doesn't bug me, and it just. That's always the joke, though. Yeah. I'm usually the one that actually cleans it and stuff. Dust it off to make sure it's tidy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a neighbor that you absolutely could not stand?
Like
or
7 of them right
like
now.
You would like. let me pose this question to Dave first, and I'll answer it first, and then you can answer it for the next 20 minutes.
It starts with this.
But I honestly don't think I've. Maybe one.
For me, I'll start first. One, when I was that age, so back when we lived on Bloomsbury, the neighbor on the left, who I still think lives there. I didn't have my bike. I always see the same style of grass and garden and the fountain with the guy pissing everywhere, that thing. But I think that, and again, when I was a teenager, hated him. He was always calling the cops. I remember that fun one. Always bitching, always complaining about everything we do.
As all hell.
But when I look at it in retrospect, fuck, we were horrible neighbors. My mother was never home. Teenagers dancing around, music blasting until 3 a.m. So it's one of those
smoking drugs.
Again, he once or twice, I have to admit, he did do the bang and the yell at us, and we tried to be quiet, but usually we just called the cops. And I hated him at the time. Still now, I wish he had handled things a bit different. I think I might have tried to be nicer.
Sure.
But I also understand.
I wouldn't say I hated the guy that lived next to me. This was in Trossachs, too. It was the guy who lived like directly next to me, the nice Italian lady that lived across the hall. But this dude was, I think he was little like special needs kind of, but not like he was able to function. Like he had he wasn't like hard to explain because you don't want to be rude. He didn't have special needs to the point where he was like needed assistance. There you go. He didn't need assistance, so he was just kind of wasn't. He wasn't
special needed assistance.
He was crazy.
It's crazy.
Let's just be plain and blunt. He wasn't special needs.
Okay.
What the fuck is crazy? All right.
Making bombs out of dirt.
Dude, seriously. I'm not even joking. Like I've been into his place because a buddy of mine used to sell him weed, and he'd be like, "Hey, come over to Buddy's with me."
Boy.
Right? And I'd be like, okay. I'd be stoned. And okay. And we go in and like, oh yeah, like shit, like Avril Lavigne's girlfriend type shit.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah, we knocked on the door once and he came to the door. I don't know what the fuck he was doing, but there was not a light on, not a TV on, nothing. It was like he was sitting in the dark and he had a Hawaiian shirt on, fucking short, shades, and his hair was greased back.
What the fuck?
Yep.
What the fuck?
Now I kind of want to do this, actually.
I know. I kind of just for the character. I agree.
I hated him, but it was like definitely somebody I would try to avoid if I like. Yeah, him and his buddy would come and buy weed off me with like handfuls of fucking change.
Oh, back in
like,
those days,
like quarters and nickels and dimes and shit. I'd be like, you gotta roll that shit before you fucking bring it to me. Like it would be in like
the bag.
Like,
I counted it. I promise.
Like, no, I'd be like, you gotta roll that shit.
That's crazy, man. Like, buddy.
Yeah.
Fucking count your shit out.
Harmless dude, but
that you know of.
Fucking just weird. I guess my buddy still talks to him every now and then.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah, and he's still pretty.
He's still the
him. Yeah, you don't get better. Like you don't like.
I don't know, maybe.
No,
that might help. I don't know. I don't know how that shit works.
I don't think so. I think if you're already in the, you just get more of that going on as life goes. I think. Yeah. If you start with a baseline of sanity, you might get a little crazy. But if you're already starting with crazy, that's
I have to admit, for me personally, I'm pretty sure I am less crazy as I get older.
Or that might just be your perception.
Yeah, I think that's
what I mean.
That is.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah,
I don't know. I've hung out with you.
Think about it.
I've hung out with you about once a week.
That's true.
For the past 2 years.
Yeah.
And in like almost 700 days, little by little.
Yeah, we're seeing it.
You've gotten crazier and crazier. Not like drink milk out of a shoe crazy.
Yet.
Yeah, I don't think I'd ever do that.
I mean, in public.
Yeah, no.
But
No.
Creamer, maybe.
No.
but yeah, crazy neighbor. Anyway, how about you?
Yeah,
Chris?
yeah.
How about you,
Fuck
Chris?
beans.
You don't have to name names.
No, it's not okay. So, where do I start?
I'm gonna say for everybody that
It just dawned on me that this is a can of worms.
Yeah.
It's a lot. Like, I mean, maybe I'm the common denominator. I don't know.
But it's
I don't know.
you're the crazy
maybe
one.
I'm the fucking bad neighbor. I don't know.
The funny part is I know at least one of these people.
Yeah, well, one, and this person
You're definitely not the common denominator.
fancies themselves a musician, and I mean, they're one of the people that will not anymore because we had a bit of a falling out, which I think I'm grateful for.
Can you have a falling out with somebody you don't
That you
give
don't
a
really
shit
care?
about?
Yeah, I mean,
Is
not
that
really,
something like
not
that?
really. Well, that's the shitty part because I gave this person the benefit of the doubt, and I wish I didn't, but I did. And yeah, they kind of abused it to a point. And I guess the most annoying thing they do now, there are two things, which I can't really complain about because I'm going to probably start doing the same thing. They just have someone come and work on their car in the parking lot all the time.
Oh yeah.
It's just like, so the car's like on jacks and shit, which is like, I don't care. Like, do what you got to do. But I'm like, it's constant. It's like a every week thing. I'm like,
It's like
what
an
the fuck?
outside garage.
Yeah, and it's just really weird that's happening. The other thing is
He's
because
gonna
I
go
think,
outside and he's gonna start seeing like naked lady calendars on the wall and shit.
they play music on Facebook and such, and that can be really fucking annoying if I'm surrounding the building. And the other thing is too, they feel to butt their fucking nose into every piece of business that happens outside the window. And I was just like, why? Like, do you have like nothing better to do with your life other than fucking watch and comment on people that are doing their fucking shit? It's just, I'm sorry.
I do got to cut in. I'm pretty sure my neighbors think that I watch them because whenever they're going in and out, I'm always doing dishes.
Yeah.
And of course, what do you do when you see movement? You look at it.
Yeah.
And so
you are.
Well, that's just it.
Essentially,
I have
always
this
watching
joke.
them.
I have this joke in my head. I'm like, shit. The neighbors that live right across from me, like, because they just time me. It always seems like they're getting home as I'm doing dishes after dinner and all that wonderful stuff.
Uh-huh.
And it's just like, I swear to God, they probably think I'm sitting there waiting for them to get home.
Yeah. That would be.
Anyway,
a thing.
back to your list. That's number one.
That's number one. I have another one that. Because we're in an apartment building, this is why it's annoying. Fucks very loudly.
Oh no!
And they'll go for fucking hours.
Well, that's impressive.
Well,
You're
impressive.
jealous.
And you know what? The first hour, I'm like, bravo. But after hour 3 on night 7, I'm like, fuck off. Go to her place. Go to her place.
That couldn't have been very easy lately.
No,
either.
No. So that's another one. But whatever, we'll get into the details. They have some redeeming qualities. It's just that's really fucking annoying. I have another one. Like, I'm just perturbed at why they do this. I don't know. They're not I don't know if they're a bad person, but this person has their fingers in all the little pies of everything that's going on in the neighborhood. You know what I mean? It's like one of the people
gotcha.
talking to this scavenger and this drug dealer and whatever. And I don't know if they're just fucking bored with their life inside or something, but like they're always walking around the building and the neighborhood. And again, it's none of my business what you're doing. It's just a little off-putting having someone that looks like they're fucking patrolling or scavenging.
Is there like an antithesis of what's that phobia where you don't want to go outside?
Oh, agoraphobia.
Yeah. Is there like
yeah, maybe.
Opposite of
I just thought actually
where you have to sleep inside, but other than that you don't want to be inside.
Right. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I'm sure there.
Or it could be that he's actually, if he was sitting here, I presume it's a he, that he'd be like, well, no. The whole reason I'm doing that is to keep an eye on our neighborhood to make sure that the properties.
Definitely not it. That's definitely not it.
Neighborhood watch
he
man.
would say that
Right.
to fucking lie to me, but no. Considering like, okay, the one example that really kind of threw me off was we have a neighbor's beside our building that needs some help because she's elderly and there's a bunch of renos and things going on there, which is all fine and good. But this person, I don't know how, but kind of like has no association with these people. Like there's no, they're not family, they're not friends, but weaseled their way in to have full access to their grounds in a way. And there was one time I was walking our dog and going by there, and they said, "Wow, you must be a really nice individual." I'm like, that's not what this is. Like, they're not doing it out of the kindness, out of their heart. They're a person that does stuff for trade or does stuff for whatever. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So
okay.
they, you know,
they want to barter with you.
Exactly.
You know, hey, here's something, and barter.
And that's kind of like, that's just a little. Again, it's none of my business. It's just really fucking annoying. It's just to see it.
Are they doing it constant?
Like every day,
Okay.
9 times, 10 times a day.
Oh, see, I do that. I do that when I ask Joe Exotic maybe for a hand, because he's like super handy, right?
Yeah,
like he's got a lot of tools. He's super duper handy. He's a good neighbor.
Yeah.
So I'll go and sometimes get him a little bit of beer.
Oh, well, that's or
something like that. But he's not asking for it, and I'm not telling him I'm gonna do it. Like, hey, if you do this, I'll do this or whatever.
Yeah,
right? It's like, hey, thanks for doing that. Here's a 6-pack or something like that. Right?
Yeah,
sure. That's different.
Yeah, I guess somebody who walks around like, hey,
it's just peculiar behavior, and like my desire to not want to get involved stops me from asking why he does this, because I just like, because then if
you ask, then they'll explain.
Yeah, I'd rather stand afar annoyed. You know what I mean? Yeah, and be like, fuck it, whatever.
Now, and this is one of those funny moments, because the way you describe makes perfect sense to me. I'm much the same way.
Yeah,
and then it's kind of one of those things of maybe it's just also our style, because again, you always hear something about there are the different types of people, and always the joke about it being the older people that would actually just want to chit chat.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. That I don't mind. I don't mind chit-chatting a little bits here and there. That's fine, but that's not what this is.
But again, it's one of those funny things that in some ways people might say we're just, one of those crowd of, youngins that don't know how to communicate with their neighbors.
Well, and we are like a part of that antisocial.
Oh yeah, we are.
Oh, I don't really the only time I actually communicate with my neighbors is at like the bus stop.
Yeah.
When we're dropping our kids
right.
off,
right.
Yeah, and it's the hey, hello, how you doing? Good. What'd you do?
Sure.
Yeah, it's the general, yeah, I gotcha. Which is funny, because not for me personally, but a fellow I used to work with, he actually had a really bad incident where because of ice, he was going downstairs, slipped on the stairs, did massive damage to his back. I don't know the details.
Oh, shit.
And was groaning and trying to yell in pain.
Mm.
And his family did not hear. His neighbor actually heard.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So had it not been for
crazy.
the neighbor, he may have been out there for
Who knows?
nobody really knows how long, but because he was on his way to
Did
work.
he have
to
a
boot.
medical alert bracelet?
Frozen to the sidewalk.
Sure.
Yeah, no, I don't know the full detail, but
That's
it
crazy.
really messed him up, unfortunately.
See, and that's a good point of neighbors. I would say my biggest pet peeve of all neighborly things is mind your fucking business. That's my biggest thing.
Here's a pet peeve neighbor thing for you that I just thought of as you said that.
I'm just thinking, like, real quickly before I go on.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, if you're not like asked for help or you weren't directly involved in them some way, maybe you don't stick your nose in it. That's all.
Or ask once, and when you get the response, then you back away.
Get away. Exactly.
Okay,
yeah.
so here's the story. I was on a walk with my wife and kid, and there's this little dog. You see this little dog run by, and we're like, whatever. And then we kind of turn around at one spot, and we're coming back, and one of the moms from the bus stop, she's sitting on her porch having a smoke. She's like, "Hey, did you see that dog run by?" I'm like, "No." It's like, "It looks like it's lost." I'm like, okay, well, I'll keep an eye out for it or whatever. So we get back onto our street, and there it is in like somebody's yard. I'm like, "Hey, dog, you sound like the dog that looks like they're lost." And then it's like, "Oh no, a person." So I guess it ran back to its house. But what had happened, I'm like, okay. So, and I kind of like went into the backyard to look, and I saw that there was like a makeshift kind of dog gate. It was a small dog.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
So it was like a makeshift dog gate kind of thing that was like pushed down. I'm like, oh, that can't be good. So then I looked around the corner, and the door was open, a crack, right? So I'm like, well, I'm just gonna knock on the door because this person lives like 2 houses down from me.
Yeah, sure.
I'm just gonna knock on the door and be like, hey, is this your dog, or did this random dog just run into your house? Like, the dog was outside running around, and we kind of ushered it home, right?
Yeah.
Knocking on the door, nothing. Knocking on the door, nothing. Knocking on the door, nothing. Dog sitting there barking at me.
Fuck.
I'm like, okay, I don't know what to do in this situation. Like, do I just leave the door open? Do I like?
Yeah.
So I just kind of walked away. The lady runs an eyelash extension fucking parlor.
Okay.
In her house, right? And I'm calling the number that's on the door, no answer.
Yeah.
Calling the number on the door, no answer. I'm like, well, fuck, I guess I'll just leave a message. So I called and then left a message or whatever. And I'm like, hey, my name's AJ. I live a couple houses down, just wondering, like, this dog and door open, blah, blah. Didn't hear anything. My wife goes for a walk, comes back. She's like, hey, you know that house and the dogs? Like, yeah, the lady's mom is at the corner with her kid just walking around because the lady just had another baby and she's having a nap. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, why is the door wide the fuck open? Like, obviously this lady left with one of the kids.
Yeah.
Didn't close the door. The dog was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Fucked off because dogs can jump.
Yeah.
Right? Or at least like rolled
Got
itself over
it.
the fucking the gate. But I never got like a call back or a nod or like the families come over to the house for trick or treat and twice.
I didn't even say, hey,
not even
sorry.
like, hey, that message you left me, that thing.
Yeah.
Thanks for bringing my fucking dog home.
Yeah.
Right? Had I not scared your dog, it would have been running around the neighborhood or like fucking got hit by a car or some shit.
Yeah.
Come on. Like my point is like
they should have said
just
thank you.
Just kind of
Acknowledge what happened.
They should have fucking said thank you.
Acknowledge AJ.
Yeah.
Acknowledge AJ.
In a neighborly way because I was being neighborly.
Yeah.
Like I could have not given a fuck.
Yeah.
But because you're my neighbor,
Yeah.
you know, like I live in the same vicinity, so as if I was in some other neighborhood, maybe I wouldn't have thought twice.
I have to admit, I've been fortunate because I've helped. I shouldn't say. I was about to say capture. Help a neighbor get their dog, and both times I've been properly thanked. One was just a normal ran, got the dog, was fine. The other one was funny because I don't know exactly what had happened, but for some reason, much like what you described, but their front door was wide open. Dogs running around, yipping, barking. Neighbor across the street and I are like, what should we do? I don't know. So, I was able to get the dog. He went to go knock on the door. Knock, no answer. We're like, do we put the dog back inside?
Right.
We just put it in the backyard, shut their door, left a little note. And then the person that used to live there, came to both our places, said, thank you very much. Yeah, we oopsed and somehow the door didn't shut.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, boy.
Yep,
Yeah.
no.
I can only imagine.
So, I do agree. It's nice to get the thank you or at least the head nod,
Yeah, it's the just like, hey, neighbor.
Just a
good
thank
looking
you.
out. Not even
Yeah.
like fucking thank you. Like,
Yeah.
hey, good looking out, like,
Yeah,
I
appreciate
Well,
appreciate
no,
it.
help,
it's
yeah.
your version of thank
Yeah,
you. I don't
yeah,
expect
right?
money. I don't expect a treat or
No,
anything.
I don't
just
expect you to
a head
fucking
nod.
bring me a fucking fruit basket or nothing.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
you want to, you can, but you don't have to.
Well,
Yeah.
those edible arrangement things, they kind of mold quickly. And
Well, then the basket of muffins will do.
Hey, no,
Basket of
I have
muffins
to
will be
admit, the
fine.
edible arrangements, I don't know if they mold quickly, but I can tell you for sure that once I received one, I ate that fucking thing so painfully fast.
did not last.
It
did
didn't
not.
have time to sweat at room temperature. Like you go into a boardroom, you're at some fucking meeting,
man.
and there's like a bunch of fruits. Like, plate full of sweaty fruit.
Oh man, I ate that thing
Thanks.
so. It was actually, I gotta admit, I can't remember the exact details of where it was given to me from, but I really enjoyed it.
Nice.
It was good.
Nice.
Yep.
Well, that's fun.
Groovy.
The only okay, I'll talk about my neighbors in my first apartment real quick.
The downstairs neighbors?
Yeah.
Oh, I know this story.
So real quick, Dave can attest. Hopefully, he'll attest. I loved my first apartment. I thought it was really fucking great.
This isn't the apartment I met you at.
No. This is a couple before that. This was I paid $400 a quarter a month. But the way I got it, like that's a whole other story.
It was a nice place.
It was a nice place. Like 2.5 bedroom, very, very big.
Yep.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, there was a little bit of that going on. But the catch of it all, it was right at Colborne in Oxford, which is a really great location.
No.
No, I wish. You know what? That would have been a lot easier than some of the stuff that I had to deal with.
Oh, okay.
All right, so they were an old couple, Dutch, I believe. She might have been Canadian, Dutch. And meeting them upon the first time, they let me know about their dog that they had, and the dog would run away all the time. And like, okay, that's interesting. I don't know why you're telling me that, but that's crazy. And they then proceeded to tell me that there was their son's police dog, and he's a very protective dog. And I'm thinking, well, if he's a trained police dog, why the fuck is he running away all the time? That seems
Right.
really
He should,
oddball,
be
right?
better recall. Yeah.
Exactly. But this is what they told me, and they were really sweet. We got along well, and then so it worked out that I ended up moving in there. And it was maybe about 7 months living there, 8 months living there, that I found out there was no dog.
No.
There was no dog
What was the
at all.
What was? Did you ever figure out why?
Yeah,
they-
so it was their little protection piece, because they were very paranoid
Okay.
about people taking their shit and whatnot.
But then why would it matter? Why would the dog run away?
Oh,
I don't
know.
understand the
That-
story.
I'm not sure understanding
I
why.
understand that, like, we have a police
No,
dog
I
who's very
know.
protective, blah blah blah. For
And
that
they even
purpose.
wanted me to fucking keep their lie. Like, if anybody asked, they had a police dog living there. I'm like, oh, okay, like whatever. That's what I got to do. Now here's where it gets even crazy.
I was going to say,
Okay.
this is
This is
seriously-
where it
If
gets
you
even
say here's
crazy.
where it gets crazy.
They wouldn't let me in their place for a very long time. I think I lived there, 4+ years, I think.
It was a while.
Wow, right?
it was a
Yeah.
while.
For some significant time. And I realized why. They were hoarders before the term hoarder was
Okay.
created. Okay?
Yeah.
And when I say hoarders, I mean it. Like, they collected everything, every bit of change, every fucking newspaper, every piece of article of clothing, every bowel movement, everything.
Wow.
Every fucking thing. And she never left the house. He only left for like pizza and other various
Why
things.
Did you even keep your poo?
I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, I don't understand the rest of it either, but the poo part is the hardest part.
It
to
was
understand.
unreal. But the crazier thing was, because they liked me so much, which is I think is a good thing.
Bags of poo for Christmas.
What, no.
Shitty Christmas.
No,
gifts.
they would do a couple things. One thing that they would do, because I didn't pay for cable at the time. I was an early cord cutter. I was just really broke, actually. But
Yeah.
that's pretty much what it was. They would buy and record wrestling pay-per-views.
Oh, really?
And then they would give me the tapes so
Oh,
I could
that's
watch.
nice.
I thought it was sweet. They would
That's
do
nice.
that. And then they would give me jars of money. Jars and jars and jars of money.
Like pennies?
Nickels, dimes, loonies, toonies.
What?
Like, most of the time, they pretty much would give me the equivalent of what I had to pay in rent. So,
Are you
I'm not
serious?
fucking kidding. So I would literally just take that change, I'd go cash it out, and then write them a check, and then that would be my rent. It was insane. My sister came over once. My sister's about 10 years younger than I am, and she came over.
I thought I lived next to a crazy dude.
They were special.
They were very
No,
special.
This
and
dude was like
Nice special.
normal comparatively.
oh,
Fuck,
yeah, they were
man.
nice special.
They were nice special.
My sister
good.
came to visit for a weekend, and it was really fun. We were having a good time. He fucking went out to a Shoppers or some whatever, bought her a shopping bag full of candy bars. Full of candy bars. And gave it to her. It's like, that's really nice. And they gave her a jar of money. I'm like, what is going
with
on?
like no weird intention?
No,
Like,
no.
he
They
wasn't,
weren't like that.
Side-eyed,
No.
flirty flirt or
No.
nothing?
He's too old for that. Yeah, it was
That's
not his
weird in a
thing.
good way.
Yeah. And like, from my end, like, it wasn't like just they were just doing this or whatever. I mean, I guess the kindness of the heart. But, I would do things where I worked downtown, so he was a big fan of Stobie's Pizza.
Okay.
So I'd give him Stobie's Pizza on the way home, or if they needed help around the house, and I'd try to help him out with that. And then, unfortunately, he had a stroke and he had to move
Yeah.
out to home, which sucked.
Oh.
So she was there, obscenely obese.
Yeah.
And she could not leave. So I ended up kind of picking up some slack for her. She had like a live-in, I don't know if live-in, but a nurse that would come,
Right.
or whatever they're called. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Sorry.
The Vaughn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So I'd help out where I could and stuff like that. And
Then it's called karma,
I guess so.
right?
Yeah.
They did all this shit for you and gave you
Right.
all this shit, and then when
Yeah.
the time came,
She-
you reciprocated.
Really, what it was, it wasn't really annoying, but like it came down to I would talk to her pretty much every night for how
I always remember
Well,
being
that's
over.
nice of
We'd
you,
be
though.
having the party.
That's
Yeah.
what she probably needed.
Yeah.
dude.
She did, but I always remember, and he would get rightfully irritated.
Oh,
Sometimes.
yeah.
We'd be upstairs playing games. Ring,
Yeah.
ring, ring, ring.
Yeah,
Oh,
like
She was
okay.
calling because she
okay.
needed
Yeah.
something. He would go down,
Yeah.
help.
That would be annoying, but at the same time,
Well, that was
I
just
would do the
it.
same thing. I'd be like,
yeah.
God damn, I'd be putting my shoes on.
Exactly.
Fucking son of a gun.
I was respectful
I'll be
about
back
it.
in a second.
Yeah, yeah.
That's exactly
That's
it.
really-
That's
that's
exactly what I would
exactly
do.
it. Yeah.
Because you're being what? You're being neighborly.
Yeah, yeah,
And that's,
right.
That's what I would think neighborly would be.
I would say it's probably the most involved I've ever been with any neighbor. And looking back on it, I really didn't mind it that much. It was just a really weird, peculiar time,
It was.
you know?
Well, it still doesn't beat your one after that, the downstairs apartment that you lived in.
Oh, that's psycho. Holy
That guy
fuck.
was really crazy.
Okay.
Now
okay.
that guy was
That guy was
come on
nuts.
in, boys. No.
No.
Oh.
He threatened my life.
Yeah.
He was a right psycho. I'm glad I left that place fucking full when I left. Fuck him.
Yeah.
Fuck him. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
He's just a really bad neighbor.
He
and
was
owned the
not,
building.
And this was the place before Philly.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was right before.
Because I
Philly,
remember, like, even the, what it was, like, month or so I stayed there, I don't ever remember there being, like, annoying neighbors or,
No.
or loud neighbors.
We were probably the
I'm
annoying
gonna say,
neighbors.
were probably the
they- you
but
were
we were
the-
at the end of the hall, so
right. Yeah,
did
yeah.
wrong.
How much?
we were just bugging people on the way
That's
in.
right. Yeah.
They got
Partied
past
a
2
lot.
doors.
Yeah,
And,
exactly. But yeah, we were. But that was a great place. I thought anyway. I liked living there for the most part.
yeah, it was a
Right.
nice couch.
So, yeah, I guess so. Yeah. So yeah, those are a couple of neighbor stories.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
true. You have the great list. That is true.
Yeah, I can't
Oh,
say
man.
that I have any like weird, outlandish like neighbor
No, I don't either.
neighbor story. I'm
Not
trying to
now.
think. Even like when I was a kid, like no, like neighbors across the road were my best friends. The old guy next door's name was Buster. I thought that was funny. Like, yeah, no, I don't really have
Remember
any.
growing up in cul-de-sacs as a kid, and everybody was friends. You had
Oh, yeah.
like some times where, like, I remember a kid tried to steal video games off me one time, and he
Oh,
got
yeah.
massive shit for it. But outside of that, you know, everybody knows each other. We're all gonna
Oh,
play
yeah.
Joe's or do whatever we're
I
gonna do.
love growing up in the cul-de-sac.
Yeah, me too.
I feel bad
Yeah.
for kids that don't get that experience.
for sure.
Yeah, because it really just everybody just meets in the center. We have fun. You just
Yeah.
do whatever.
Play hockey or do
Yeah.
whatever you're gonna do. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I never lived in a neighborhood with too many kids. Like I said, the first neighborhood that I really remember living in, the 2 kids across the street. Yeah, I played with all the time.
Yeah.
Other
Yeah.
than that, it wasn't like a whole group of kids or anything like that.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I have to admit,
Yeah.
I've been fortunate. I grew up with that. My
Yeah.
kids are growing up with that. Now, mind
That's
you,
good.
the joke now is, and I still make fun of them for it. You know, they have their friends that do live in the neighborhood.
Right.
They play their games online together. This is true.
Well, sure. Yeah.
Do they get together once in a blue moon?
Yeah, for sure.
Halloween.
Well, I guess growing up in a small town, you're kind of growing up in a neighborhood.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
you
sure.
If you
definitely.
think about what a neighborhood consists of in
Absolutely.
a city,
Yeah.
because a neighborhood in a city is like, and this is how I always think of it, is like, let's take Northland and Trossachs area
Yeah, sure.
for instance. You have Sobeys, Home Depot. You
Yep.
can go to the mall. You
Yeah.
can go down Adelaide. You got video stores and more grocery stores, and you only have to like go. You don't have to go outside a certain neighborhood,
Correct.
Right.
which is about as big as Kenora, right?
Yeah,
like
sure, yeah.
10,000 people,
Yeah.
something like that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess I kind of grew up in a
I'd
neighborhood.
say
So,
so.
if a group of kids were meeting somewhere,
Everybody. knew.
all the group of kids were meeting you know,
Exactly.
from
Yeah.
every public school or whatever.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
Well, maybe that's why it just wasn't
There you go.
a thing.
Yeah. Well, it's just
I don't know.
It's just a different thing. That's all.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think
Everybody's
kids out in
life
the
is
boonies did more of that.
Yeah.
Like if there were kids that lived on the same road that was like, 10, 15 minutes outside of town,
Mm.
then yeah, they'd probably be more clicky
Yeah, for sure.
than
They stick
than
to
we-
theirs.
Yeah.
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 Makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, any more neighborly things we want to talk about?
No, just I try to be the good one.
All right.
Try.
Do your best to be the best,
I
best neighbor you can be.
actually, right now, I could say I appreciate both of the neighbors that are to my immediate
Nice.
sides. That would be, I guess, what you would call your traditional term for neighbor.
Yeah.
Your left,
Oh yeah.
your left neighbor or your
Gotcha,
right neighbor.
your immediate neighbor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I
No,
agree.
they're great. Like
Yeah.
buddy Joe Exotic. I rip on him, but fuck, when it snows bad, he'll come out with his plow or his snow
Nice.
blower and
Yeah.
snow blow a bunch of shit. Or
Hey,
in
man.
the summertime, like if he notices that my front yard hasn't been done and he's doing his on his riding mower,
Yeah.
it ain't costing him no more sweat to
to do it.
Go
That's
10
nice.
feet that way and 10 feet back the other way. We have a real small front lawn.
Yes, you do. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Taking the good
it's
with the
nothing
bad,
for him
right?
to
Yeah,
on a
nice.
riding mower, right? So sometimes I'll do the same for him.
Nice.
I gotta push
I have to
more,
admit, my
but I'll do
neighbors
the same
right
thing.
now, one on my right, love, we get along great, chit chat, hey, hello,
Yeah.
normal good stuff. One on my left, I say hello, they say nothing in return. Mind you, they're also the ones I had to go bang on their door
For
at
sure.
2:00 in the morning, so
Yeah.
maybe I've pissed them off and we're not friends. I
My
don't know.
my
Yeah.
other neighbors are I don't think I've interacted with them as much as Joe, but they're nice.
Yeah.
They're nice. They're a Portuguese family,
Nice.
so they're loud,
Oh, sure.
but they're very nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Very nice.
I would say
There's lots of them. There's
aside-
like 6 of them, man.
aside from the ones I mentioned, I actually have got some pretty decent people in my direct vicinity.
Nice.
There, everyone tries to get along.
You got
Everyone's
the one
you
with the
know.
little puppy at the end of the hall there. He doesn't seem
Yep.
that bad.
Well, that's the fuckaroo.
oh, is it?
Yeah, for
See,
sure.
anytime I saw him, he's just
You're not
maybe-
fucking them? No,
maybe-
we'll give it a bit of time.
Maybe that's that's the hump dog.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, well,
Hump dog millionaire.
Okay, I could see that.
Yeah,
Good. I could see that.
I bet you
He's
could.
not an ugly fella.
No, he's definitely
Hump
not.
dog
No,
he's a good looking
no,
guy.
yeah.
So
He's-
I could
he's
see
taming
how-
some strange,
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
for
can see
sure.
that, for
Yeah,
sure.
Absolutely,
I- yeah.
absolutely.
So I mean, I kind of fault him, but not really.
Yeah, exactly.
Not
It's
really.
like it's annoying after a while, but
But I mean, he's just doing
but
him, right?
but and
He's
we do
living,
have a
man.
rapport, so I can't whatever. But I have a lot of other neighbors in the building. We all get along fine enough. No one's arguing.
I know you like to listen to your movies and games quite loud.
Sure, I do.
So,
I do. Yeah,
I'm sure you have.
and
I'm
that's
sure
why
you're
I
on a
never
list somewhere too, right?
exactly. I don't complain about other people's noise because I make noise too. As
That's why I don't complain
Philly,
as much about it.
we both live in Philly for a time. As he once said, I take this with me. We all got to live.
Yeah.
And I try to
Yeah.
respect that because we're all
Yeah.
trying to live here. So, I want to make sure that
And
they're.
that's why I
they're
don't
best
bug
experience.
about Buddy's
Yeah.
noise next door, right?
Worst
'Cause
things
it's
to be mad about, you know?
Whatever.
If it's a massive problem, then we got to talk about it. But if
Yeah.
it's not,
Like
Oh,
I said,
yeah, always
like I
talk.
said, if it keeps my baby up,
of course.
they'll have issues. But
Of course.
cool.
And you out there, what are your neighbors like? What do you think of our neighbors? We want to hear from you. So let us know what you thought about our conversation today in our comments section or join our Discord server. And let us know there after this airs here. If you like what we're doing, we're going to have ourselves Buy Me a Coffee link. You can throw us $1 or $2 to help pay for the bubblies and help pay for the lights and all the other good things that we're doing here. And outside of that, if you're not feeling well in the mental department, we just want you to know that you're not alone. The whole rest of the world is feeling the way you do, and you matter, not just to us, but to those around you. So it's important to talk about that stuff. So if there's nobody that you feel comfortable talking with about any of that stuff with, we're gonna have links in our description for you to check out the help you might need. But until next time, I've been Harvey.
I'm the Dave.
And I'm the west of the world, Elmer Fudd.
Son of a
Son
of a bitch. I'm gonna get you, you wascally wabbit.
Well, no, he's not the rabbit. You the
Oh,
rabbit.
I'm the wabbit. Okay. all right.
You're the wabbit.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oy vey. We're done.
And that was AJ. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. You've been sarcastically distracted. We appreciate your time. Have yourselves a wonderful